Hey you guys, it's Ashley Rodgers with Grace and Mercy. Not sure what time it is in your time zone, but it's Central Time here, and it is at 3 in the evening. So hey, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. To those of you who are experiencing the winter weather, I pray that you all are safe. To those of you who are experiencing the wildfires, I am praying for you guys. I really do pray that God protects each and every one of you, and that you all are safe, and He provides everything to you that you need. Having a reset sometimes is God's plan, and so we just have to accept the will of the Lord and let His will be done in our lives, so that what it is that He has for us can manifest the way that He needs it to. So I am praying for you guys. I really do wish you all the best, and definitely want you all to be safe. Please note you have prayers here. So yesterday, we talked a little bit about the accessories to the sewing machine, or to sewing when you're sewing. We talked about having great sharp fabric scissors. We talked about the needle that you hand needle and thread. We talked about the threader, the little metal aluminum piece for the threading. We also talked a little bit about, what else did we talk about? The thread scissors, like you can cut close to the fabric. We talked about the thread puller. We talked about the needle presser, needle pusher. So we talked a little bit about that on yesterday. So today, and I know yesterday I said we were going to talk about the machine, and I didn't even get to it, and I apologize. But today, we're going to talk a little bit about the machine. So I have my Juki industrial machine. I have a Singer heavy duty machine. I have my Brother embroidery machine, and I also have my Brother serger. So we're going to talk a little bit about each one of these machines, because all of them play a role in sewing, but in particular, we're definitely going to focus on the sewing machine, the industrial, and on the heavy duty. So I just want to make that clear. So I will move from this spot to another spot, so just be patient with me, but we're going to get this ball rolling, I promise. All right, so on every single sewing machine, you have parts that play a vital role in the function of that machine. So right here, you're going to see that this right here is your hand wheel. Your hand wheel moves your needle up and down, just like if you were pressing the foot pedal on the machine. Like, for instance, my industrial machine has a foot pedal. Like my machine is built onto a table. It's stationed on a table, a heavy duty table. And there's a motor that sits externally outside of my machine. But there's this huge foot pedal on the floor for my machine that operates my machine and makes the needle go up and down as I need it to start mending the product together, the fabric together, bringing it together, sewing it together. But what you also need to know is that you also have a back stitch. So when you first start to sew, your material is going to go forward once you press that pedal. It's going to go forward, pushing the material in front of you. However, when you first start sewing, you need to, you're going to go forward, but you need to stop for a second and hold your back stitch down so that your thread and your needle can go in reverse, pulling the fabric back towards you. What that's going to do is secure the place where you began sewing so that your material doesn't start to become unthreaded. Now, each machine has this on it. It also has a stitching knob that helps you select the stitch that you want to use. You can do straight stitch, which is you can do double stitch, where the needle goes side by side and does double stitching down. You can do triple. You can do zigzag. There are so many different options on some of not the heavy duty, but on the other sewing machines, like the ones you would start out on. Most of them come with 100 stitches that you can choose from, but some of them actually have more. The computerized ones are now offering more options for you to choose from when you're choosing your stitch. Now, this right here, this is your tension knob. This determines how tight or how loose you want your thread to be on your material. So if you twist it the opposite way, it's going to make it loose. So the thread is not going to be tight. Your material is not going to be tightly secured. So expect, if you do loose thread, you're doing loose thread for probably a DIY, like a home project. For instance, like if you were making a curtain, you might need to leave the thread loose some because you're going to put a rod through there. You might want to scrunch up your material once you put the rod on there. But to move on, you have this right here. This is for your thread to go into. And I took it off because I want to show it to you. This goes on the top of my machine. Now, on this, my thread goes through these two holes, right? It goes through these two holes, and then it goes through another hole. These places right here are where the thread is secured to the machine. It's secured to where it's placed up here on the spool. Because the thread that comes from here is going to come to my machine. It's going to go through all these holes. Yeah, it's going to go through the take-up lever, the thread take-up lever. It goes through another hole not another hole, but another little section where it makes sure that this thread does not come out the machine, that it is secure. And once I thread up each and every one of these holes, I bring it down here to the bottom. And when I bring it to the bottom, this is where I begin to thread my needle. So some machines have those little self-threading accessories attached to it, where you take the thread, you bring it down by the needle, you wrap the needle, kind of hook it up on this thing, and you slide a little knob, and it hooks the needle the thread right into the needle. Well, the industrials, baby, you gotta work a little bit, just gonna say. But these are some of the things that are very important for the machine. Like here, this right here is to let the needle up and down. So your presser foot up and down. Your presser foot is what secures the fabric directly to the machine, to the plate, to the needle plate. This is your needle plate. So on your needle plate, this is it shows you 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, which helps you determine how much fabric you're leaving for an inseam. You gotta leave some room when you're sewing your material so that if you make an error, you still have room to play with. If you need to go out some, you can go out some. If you need to go in some, you can go in some. But I just have to let you know these things because they play very important roles in the machine. Now your hand wheel, like I said, it moves your needle up and down, up and down, up and down. However, let me make this clear. You ain't gonna sew nothing if that presser foot ain't down. You can push your foot on this pedal as much as you want to. Your machine is gonna let you know, we ain't doing that. You gotta let this presser foot down so that I can grab this, so that I can grab the material, because there are claws underneath the needle plate that help feed the material through as the machine is sewing. So remember that, okay? Don't forget. So in the meantime, I have to show you this. Now this is a part of my, let me just take this one from underneath here to show you. For the industrial machines, the bobbin is a little bit different. You have a bobbin case. You have a bobbin case where your bobbin goes in here, and then you have your bobbin. Now the bobbin is different, looks different for brother machines, for Singer machines. It looks a little different. So if you're using an industrial machine, you want to make sure that you're using the correct bobbin for your machine, because if not, you might not, I ain't gonna say might not, you won't have a product being made because you don't have the right bobbin. Because the way they built the machines, the way that the needle goes down into the machine and then the thread is pulled up through the bobbin, like for this Yuki, you need those holes. The holes are there required. For a Singer or a brother, I think they are just flat metal plates with slits, like a little slit in the side. But make yourself familiar with your machine and the accessories that you need with your machine. So for me, I went online after I bought my machine some years ago. I went online and bought the additional presser foots. Now there are presser foots for all kinds of things that you want to do. You have presser foots for zippers. You have your universal, which is the one you use for everything, which is the one that's already on the machine, and I will have to unscrew it to show it to you, but I ain't gonna do that right now. But I just want you to see, there are so many different things that go to the machine that you want to make sure that you have. Having those additional presser foots, when I say life-changing, it's life-changing. I can't show you, I can't flip this box over because my little plastic top didn't want to act right, so I had to take it down, but I went on to Amazon. Now these presser feet, whichever one you want to use. This one, these right here are for the basic machine. These are not for the industrial machine. You could get this for like $22.99 off of Amazon. I believe it's $22.99 when I purchased mine. So it gives you all kind of presser feet. You have them for all kind of stitching, all kind of sewing. You have it to help you sew your bias tape on, to do your blind stitches, to do zippers, all different kinds of zippers, metal zippers, invisible zippers, all kind of zippers. You have, oh my goodness, you have your buttonhole foot. It helps you get the hole just right on the garment that you're making so that you can sew your button on. Now, when you sew a button on, you're using your hand to sew them buttons on. Some people have been successful at attempting to put their do it on the machine, but I don't play with my machine because I don't like breaking needles and having to replace them. But this right here can be purchased on Amazon and also eBay. You just type in sewing machine feet kit and it will bring up a whole list of products like this one. And I will be sure to try to put that link in the bio for you guys to check it out. Now, the industrial machine. These presser feet are much heavier. They are, I bought this off of eBay, I think, because it was a better price than Amazon. But I have all kinds of presser feet for my industrial machine. Like, I think there are 20, let me say the set. It's about 20 in here. But when I say it's better to have the backup than not have it. And they do have these feet according to the machine that you use. So be mindful of that. Remember, the machine that you have and the parts that you buy, it's imperative that you buy parts that go with your machine. Okay? Don't forget that. Don't forget.